It's NES time, it's Bobble time. It's my phone going off. Okay, a few technical problems, so I'm just re-recording this. We are looking at the NES conversion of Bobble. So you got the little intro screen there. The NES version is regarded as being fairly close to the arcade. It's got most of the power-ups. In fact, it's actually got a few extras that the arcade didn't have. It's got the Super Bobble option, which is you play through the game, and to get the proper ending, you have to basically finish it on Bulb. Yeah, you have to finish it in Super Bobble mode. So you basically put a code in. You finish the game, it gives you a code. You put the code in. It gives you a slightly harder remixed version. Bugger. Don't know if it's an emulator bug, but I'm getting the odd disappeared at certain points. It's probably just to do with the flicker. One thing, and I don't think I mentioned this before, but the only way to get the proper ending, the good ending, is oh, there's a sweetie there. Is to finish it 2 players. Now, whether you can just have hit the 2-player button at the last screen and hope for the best, or whether they have to actually be actively playing, I don't know. There's one version that I'm aware of. I know that definitely you don't need to. You can get the good ending as a 1-player, but I'll tell you that when that happens. So you basically need to make friends. And the extends are there. Am I going to get them? Probably not. Oh, I fell through that one. Ah, there's nothing worse than just being about to get it and not. I'm finding this version fairly tough. And these playthroughs, in fairness, it's partly because I'm rubbish and partly for time, but I'm just playing up to aiming for about level 10 or so if I can. One thing I noticed, the water animation on the NES isn't as good as actually of all things the Commodore 64. Commodore 64 had a lovely kind of water effect, whereas this is a blue bubble that follows you around. Oh, there's an extend. Ah! Just bouncing around it. Just couldn't seem to get it. It's a little bit easier to bounce in the bubbles, I find, on the home console ports, because you got a jump button. You just hold that down rather than have to push up, so it just seems to be a little bit easier. And this is the first time this level, if I remember rightly, doesn't show up on the other versions. Unfortunately, the flicker is making it bloody hard to work out what's going on there. Oh, that's the worst place for it to be. Ah, bugger. There we go. Carrots for everyone. A little bit of glitch in there and flickering when you get that many sprites on screen. But in fairness, it's understandable. I mean, you can't fault it for that. Not even sure what that was. Oh, am I gonna get it? It's anyone's guess. No. So the NES version, it's I mean, again, it's going to be better than, to a certain extent. You can't really compare it to the home computer versions. I mean, the home computer version would set you back £2 or £3. Well, okay, maybe £10 on original release, more on well, you know, sorry, less rather when you know, after a little while when it was out. The console versions, you know, would have cost a lot more, and they didn't really ever seem to get much of a reduction. I mean, back in the days, when, if you were, say, in Ireland or the UK, you would have been spending 20, you know, £30-40 on a console cartridge. So I mean, you can't really say, oh, you know, you can't do a straight comparison. But I mean, the NES version there, really enjoyable. Pretty close to the arcade, very good. I would have said it was the best 8-bit console version, or the best 8-bit version, but we got the Master System version coming up, and I have a soft spot in my heart for that. But there you go, that's the NES one, and we'll have a look at the Master System next. It's the Master System. It's Bobble. It's time for another review. Well, they're not really reviews, they're just kind of quick looks. This is my favourite home conversion. I think it looks a bit better than any of the 8-bit ones. I think it arguably looks better than the NES one, and it's close to the arcade, you know, colour-wise. It's got 200 levels, 200 different levels. The NES actually is a little bit more in one sense. You've got 112, and then you play it again with some slight differences, and some slight differences to the bad guys in it. But this is kind of 200 different levels. It's kind of odd. You've actually got to collect some hidden items in the game to get past the first 100 levels. Anyway, let's start off. What I'm going to do is, there's a ton of hidden things in this. I'm going to show you the intro screen. It's a little better looking than the NES one, I thought. Now, I'm going to see if I can show you this. This is basically to trigger the first hidden item. Alright, there's 10 grand for nothing. The first hidden portal. It's a pain in the arse to do this. You basically wander around, and you can fire a shot if you want, but you just don't hit any of these guys. It's a bit like, if you ever played Slap Fight or Alcon, that if you die before you hit anything, on your second life you come back with every single weapon in the game. Well, this is something similar. You don't necessarily have to die, although it can happen. Yep, see? Don't know if that'll let me do it now. But you basically keep playing through. Then Skell, or Baron von Blubber, or whatever you want to call him, the giant whale guy appears. And you get a little portal. And there we go. And it's full of things like that. There's lots of different hidden sections like that. And then some of them are going to be things you need to actually progress through the game. There's a little double lollipop. Now, I probably shouldn't say this, but this is about the 5th time I've played through this today, recording it. Every time I have something's happened. The last time some guy came to the door selling things, I had to stop the recording and I couldn't come back. I couldn't remember what I'd been saying, so before that my son had been feeding him and he got a bit upset. He was grand now, but he was gurgling away a bit too loudly, so we had to cut the recording. Wow, that was a television! I've never seen that one before. Oh, let's just get them all. I was going to get that extend, but, you know. You've seen the extends before, folks. So, the way I've been playing these, like I said, I'm going to try to get to level 10. I had no problems this morning. I had a couple of plays of this. I was blasting through it. I had, no problems at all. And of course, as soon as I start recording... Oh, there's a sneaker. As soon as I start recording, I keep messing up. Oh, it's just... Or when I'm not messing up, something happens and I have to stop the recording. I've got the I was going to do a live version of this. Oh well, yep, the double figures thing works. Basically, if you finish a level, if you kill your last monsters with double figures, so it's like, you know, 110 or 220 or 330 or whatever, you get any bubbles that are on the screen get turned into I think everything that's on the screen gets turned into a fruit that gives you lots of points. I was going to say something really amazing and I can't think what it was. Brain is obviously melted. Oh yeah, it's again similar to the NES. It's jumping on bubbles isn't too hard. There's a crown. It can be a bit hard to see sometimes when you put a lot of bubbles on screen like this. You get a lot of flickering, tiny bit of slowdown, but it's pretty. You see there, it was pretty easy to jump up. This was released as Final Bubble Bobble in Japan. It was released as... Oh, no, that was a bit unfair. It was released as Bubble Bobble in Europe and Dragon Maze in Brazil. It wasn't released as anything in the US because it didn't get a US release, sadly. Oh, you still those E's there. As I said, I was going to do a live version of this. Basically pop the cartridge in and record it straight from the Master System. I was looking at the manual there. It's just... It's bizarre. I mean, for a Master System release, which is usually pretty good quality on the things, it calls in the manual at first the sneaker one is Juice. I'm assuming someone misheard it. It's the storyline basically says something like you were a boy and two boys called Bob and Bob, who girlfriends called Patty and whatever it was. You're kidnapped by a witch who changes into a dragon and then changes her name to Bubblin' and Bobblin'. So, you know, it wasn't enough that she changed into a dragon, she also has to, you know, go off by deed poll and change her name. I think it was just, they're just making up on the spot. Oh, there's some, is that fudge? What do you think? Is that fudge in there, butter? I do know there's a sweet there. Now, like I said, the only thing, you know, the only problem I have with this is there is a bit of flicker, but it's only really when you fill the when you fill the screen with bubbles like this. But there's an awful lot to play through here. It's really enjoyable. Like I said, much as I'm giving out about, you know, oh, I've had to replay this lots of times this morning, it was still good fun. So yeah, this is the Master System version. Well worth checking out if you get a chance. It tends to, it's not that expensive. It tends to kind of get snapped up on eBay. Usually, so if you see a copy gone for £2 or £3, definitely pick it up. No Mega Drive version of this, as far as I know. So if you're kind of a Sega gamer, you're talking power-based converter and Master System copy, or the Saturn. But oh god, we'll talk about the Saturn when it comes up, because there's some there's some fun stuff with the Saturn. It's not good, let's put it that way. Anyway, listen, and there's an example of the password system. There you go. You can use that if you want to go off and continue from where I played. Listen, that's the Master System version, and next up, probably look at the 16-bit computers, the Amiga and the Atari ST. So thanks for watching.